Hey, there we go. All right. Love it. Love it. Gonna go there. All right. We are live on Instagram and on YouTube. There it is. Hey, we got it. All right. Live on YouTube, live on Instagram. You're not getting pro sound through Instagram, but that's okay. If you want the pro sound, you can come join us at Baby Mermaid Productions on YouTube. What's up? How's it going, Cupcake? I'm back, baby. The Gross Domesticated podcast is the first one of the year, and it's back with a vengeance. We're going to catch up a little bit. I'm going to let you know some of the plans I have for the show going forward. What else? I want to catch up, want to find out what's going on with you guys, see how you guys have been. Just finding out any of that fun stuff. You can pound off in the comments on Instagram, of course, or you can call in the show, 717-559-2971. If you want to join in and chat along, you can pound off live if you'd like. I hope you can hear me well enough on Instagram. If not, let me know. And I should be close enough that I could read your comments here because I'm not going to get it on the computer, it looks like. No, of course not. So, as usual, most things are failing me. Of course, this is late, the first one back, and we're already starting late, but it's okay. I don't mind because that's kind of the point, kind of the mission statement, I think, of the show, essentially, is going forward. I want to make sure that hey, what's going on, Charles? How's it going, buddy? Pounding off live. We got your comments right on the screen as well over here. Sorry, pointing to the wrong side. Schedule's over here. Schedule's over here on that side. Again, you'll notice that later on. The video will be up afterwards on the Gross Domesticated Podcast playlist on the Baby Mermaid Productions YouTube channel, where you can join in and pound off live, or call in or anything like that. I'm going to be having guests. Basically, that's what I'll say. I'll start off the show by saying, welcome back to every one of you. I'm happy to be here. I was truly honored. Really, really excited to hear a lot of the feedback that I've gotten over the past couple months of people asking when the show is going to come back, when I'll be doing more GDP lives. A lot of it was Ian. A lot of it was Karen. Dom asked me, Manny, a couple other people, like multiple people, not just the normal, like one or two people. I don't want to be too vague. I legitimately can't remember how many people. So, and a lot of people expressing interest in being guests on the show. I want to tell everyone right now, going forward, mission statement of GDP is because it's always been the creative outlet that I've enjoyed. I feel like I'll never, like, I've always enjoyed doing GDP, and it never seems like it got too much, but it was just other things that I would do, I kind of let get in the way. But I always knew that I have GDP on the back burner, the creative outlet that truly is my own. And I appreciate everyone's patience and true support over the past couple years, because I feel like it's becoming more of exactly what I want it to be. So a lot of people were saying, like, oh, we want you to stream again on Instagram. And like, I was like, I couldn't figure out a way to get the pro sound through Instagram and everything without buying a bunch of bullshit gadgets that I probably wouldn't need necessarily. But I want to grow the YouTube page. I want to make sure that what I want is not only for Gross Domesticated Podcast to be the creative outlet that I have complete and total control over, but also like the thing that I also can mold to be exactly what people want to see. So like that's the thing, is like it's not necessarily just about me getting more of a like it's the rising tide that I've always talked about, but it's kind of become more of a thing where I want the Gross Domesticated Podcast to be kind of exactly what I probably should have been going for the whole time, with the live format, having it streaming so I can have interaction with people in the moment, whoever's available, like whoever's on their lunch break, who's ever on their whatever, you know what I mean? Like Come on, all right, just come over here. Jesus Christ. And of course, there's going to be Stanley. This is a new addition to the Gross Domesticated podcast. Obviously, Stanley has been mentioned plenty of times on the show, and I'm sure you've seen him on many of the other podcasts. If you do listen or watch, well, you wouldn't see him if you're listening, but if you check out the 6 a.m. podcast, Falls Count Anywhere, anything like that, Stanley is oftentimes featured, but he's been very deliberate. He's deliberately trying to get my attention from Chloe, who is also right here. It's Takatic, after all. But it's basically he wants to be part of the creative process as well. So welcome Stanley into 2022. This is the first episode of 2022, and I want it to be basically what I was saying. What I was trying to say was the rising tide kind of format. You know, the idea of where a rising tide raises all ships. I want to, like, you know, if you're a comic in the area or watching anywhere on Instagram or on YouTube or anything like that, you want to just hang out and talk. I kind of like the morning show, like the format-ish feel, the conversational, the long form. I feel like a lot of podcasts, since podcasts have really, the popularity has really blown up, I feel like a lot of people have kind of lost the true, like, direction of what a podcast was. And where it's kind of like long form conversation / interviews, talking about current event bullshit. It has always kind of been like some of the best morning show things like that I would listen to a lot of times. Things I would be fans of, like if like Opie and Anthony, Jim and Sam now is basically kind of the watered down last version of it, basically. But I like it. I think it's a thing where it's what, like I said, a loosely produced show that has commercial breaks. It has all that other shit. Look out for coming up. You know, we don't just have drink drops here anymore, baby. We got commercial breaks. We got music. We got all kinds of fun stuff. But the Gross Domesticated podcast being like what it started out as like a couple years ago to what it is now, it's so close to being what I want it to be and what I feel like I can continuously do in my routine so I can still make money doing other things, you know, like make a living and all that other bullshit, because streaming 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, you know, during a pandemic, super duper easy, or like a shutdown, like a lock-in. That's when this started. It's super easy to make that time. But once everything kind of starts opening back up again, it kind of turns into like making time for. I found out that I was making time for a lot of other people and not making enough time for the creative things I want to do. So now that I figured out competing in jiu-jitsu on a regular basis. So far, January, I got another competition coming up in February. My goal to have a jiu-jitsu competition once a month for the whole year, at least, minimum, is so far so good. 2 months in, 2 months done. Or not done yet, but at least, you know, entered. So with training, you know, working the day job at the pet crematory, we got stand up at night, you know, everything, trying to roll all those things together and try to get everything popping, kind of get into a routine has been really difficult and really trying. So like, I know that being Gross Domesticated Podcast, I'm basically the whole thing, you know, aside, you know, Dom, the kitty cats, stuff like that. Obviously the peeps, everybody that pounds off, anybody that hangs out, any guests, future guests, anything like that. They're a part of the show. But if you like, I know that I'm the only one that I can tell me, hey, why don't we just take a break for a while? You know, I had hacks coming up. I know I'm trying to think back of when I really stopped doing it. And that was the thing, was just I needed too many days off. So now that I'm able to work it back into a schedule, still be able to record like 6 a.m. on a regular basis, record the other podcasts that I do, Falls Count Anywhere, Proper Robotics, stuff like that, still be able to produce and give them 100% while still being able to grow it in other ways like this. And I want to spend this podcast, not spend this, utilize this podcast. That's it. Utilize this podcast for, helping plug my friend's shit. Helping. That sounds gross. Like, hey, gross domestic violence. There we go. Hey, you know what I mean? Hey,
fuck 'em.
But I think I want to, like, not only be able to talk. I feel like I've been disconnected with a lot of, not just like, I wouldn't say even like just current events or like newsworthy things, but more of like, I feel like I'm just not a part of, like, I'm not doing my part. I'm not, like, not that I'm a part of, but I'm not doing my part in in broadcasting, podcasting, whatever you want to call it. I didn't want to be like another podcast that, you do a couple episodes of and you stop, another episode and you stop. I know that I love the name of this podcast. I love the like I said, the people that interact with this show are the people that I love interacting with in real life. So, like, it seems to have the effect that I was pursuing, which was to truly put out actual shit that people fuck with. Not like just getting support from friends that, well, oh yeah, I liked your podcast or whatever. Like, no, I want to actually do something here. I want to have conversations. I want to talk about shit. I want to learn. That was a big thing with GDP Live for the most of the time was word of the day, was trying to learn how to do different things. You know what I mean? I really and in that excitement and in that that kind of pursuit, I feel like I definitely put way too much on my plate. So with it being, and not too much in the sense that, like, it was stressful. It's I can tell, I have no problem telling myself no. There's no problem with when I can say, whether it be, the keeping up with, all of the different things, ideas that I had for the show. Really, it's funny because as a producer, I realize how important producers are in shows. You know what I mean? So this is hard. I spent the first 15, 20 minutes of this day. I intended on starting, and you can see the schedule. I had intended to say to start at 11 o'clock, but I didn't even get started until, probably 12 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago coming up. So 13 minutes ago, but I was supposed to start 33 minutes ago. That's where we run into a problem because as far as like producing and getting ready to actually do the show and actually, I made a bunch of very detailed notes, very, very important to stay organized before I launch this because since the show's been off, we started doing Trauma Hood, which is my wife's podcast. It's an audio only podcast. You can find it anywhere you get your audio only podcast. And it's just her. None of me. Even if you like, I love when Dom's on the show, and she's really great. She was also a guest on Ian Strong's podcast recently, Strong Words with Ian Strong. Both his his show with my wife, as well as Charles's, was the one right before that. Charles Baynard, Cupcake, who was here a little bit earlier. Both of those episodes, great episodes, and you know what they were? Conversations. They were interviews. They were just two people chatting about shit they like. And that's kind of what this was, but to an extent where it has that little bit of production so that it has, it kind of, I don't know. That's not, it's not that I was like afraid of putting out a bad product. It was just too much to put out what I thought was good enough. So I'm happy to be back in a capacity, putting a lot less stress on myself and having this be the creative outlet where I can sit here, talk shop with my buds. You know what I mean? I can sit here and I can talk with the peeps and my friends, everybody, new and old. You got original Rons, you got your premium Rons. I didn't forget you guys. And like I said, people reaching out and asking, hey, is everything cool? Or when's the show coming back? I really missed the show. I really been craving the show, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly why I started doing the podcast in general, was I want people to like the show. It's literally, that's the thing. I think that's why I've felt more successful as far as podcasting than maybe like stand-up, is mainly because I feel like I get what I offer more in podcasting than I get what I offer in stand-up. Being funny is cool. It's great. But it's also like consistently funny, like all the time. This doesn't have to be. This is entertainment. I want it to be entertaining, but it doesn't have to be funny. There's the pressure to be the best thing ever. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I can leave that up to the Trump. If honestly, literally, if you think you can do better, call in 717-559-2971. Doesn't matter. You can talk, pound off live, say whatever. I'll probably hang up on you if you piss me off, though. Just to be honest, because it is my show. There is a power trip. There's a little bit of a power trip there. But thanks for compliments. Much love to you. Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Ian's pounding off in the comments right now. Again, live on Instagram at Baby Mermaid Productions, or on YouTube at Baby Mermaid Productions. Either one. Subscribe, like, do whatever, or don't. If you don't like, that's totally fine. But if you like it and you want to pound off, I have topics. I got plugs. I just want to say real quick. Like I said, Trauma Hood was started. Big. It has been I've noticed such a huge change and a lot of times you can't say, people try to qualify good or bad with change. Any change is ultimately good because it means new things, but it's not necessarily, it's also subjective. So I've noticed a change in Dom that I personally think is good, but I think she doubts herself a little bit more, but not in the, I don't think that's the good thing. I think she just doubts that the improvement. It's changing. She's thinking differently. And I just love to see how she's navigating it. And I like to see her share her own thoughts, you know what I mean? Like that she has formed by herself, or whether it be conversations with other people or me. Like I take things away from our conversations as well that I think, and we talk about it a lot of times. That's the best thing about our relationship, is the fact that we are so able to communicate truly how we feel. So it's kind of a cool thing to have her, like, I get to listen in on like how she, even though I'm sitting right next to her as I'm producing, because I'm very professional, making sure, there's not a lot of ums and ahs, yada, yada, yada. But she has this, and looking up still, you know what I mean? Producing, I look stuff up too. I Google shit all the time. You can ask Manny. I'm pretty good at Googling. Proper Bonics guys, I try to Google real time for them as well. So I do good. I'm no young Jamie, but again, like I said, performing and producing at the same time. Young Jamie doesn't do that. He just sits over in the corner. I got to be young Jamie and old Rogan as well. So, but it's nice to get a little insight on like how, like her independent thought throughout that time. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to kind of listen in. I'm a fan. So, yeah, hell yeah. That's right. GDP is back. That's absolutely right, Manny. Thank you very much for reminding everybody in the comment section. Again, pound off if you wish, please. But yeah, I think Trauma Hood's a great podcast for anybody that's, she has things, and honestly, it's hard because she works very hard at work. She has, when she comes home, she has this kind of like off switch where she just like, she's done and doesn't want to really do anything. And I totally get it, because whether it be all the mental effort that she puts in at work and the physical effort, I appreciate it, love it. But also like, my goal with not only staying consistent with GDP is trying to keep her consistent with that, because it's already getting a lot of great feedback, and she's only like 5 or 6 episodes in. 5? I should know. So check it out. You know what I mean? I listen to it. I listen to each episode twice. That's how much I love it. Trauma Hood. Strong Words with Ian Strong, like I said earlier. His last, they're all great. You want to talk about production? That guy is, he a lot of times he utilizes songs. I'm not going to call it plagiarism, but he definitely doesn't give credit to the artist that he does. But he does wonderful interpretations of artists' music that, for instance, Trauma Hood. He recreated the Trauma Hood theme that was originally orchestrated by yours truly, and he kind of does it all with the instruments himself, which is really cool. He has what is the Shot Glass Diaries, where he basically tells a story of a trip he made with a shot glass as his best friend. I believe it's a talking shot glass. It's kind of like a Disney movie. I believe that's what those are. Or it's closer to Red Shoe Diaries, where they fuck. I don't know. I think he fucks a shot glass in every episode. What else? Also, you should check out Falls Count Anywhere. You know what I mean? Falls Count Anywhere is going to have, speaking of streaming and everything like that, I almost call it the Royal Zoom. It was the Zoom Rumble that we're going to be doing for the Royal Rumble, which is a WWE the thingy event. Yeah. Show? Pay-per-view. Is it a pay-per-view? Either way, Manny will pound off. Either way, follow Falls Count Anywhere for more information about that. This Saturday coming up, right? Yeah, I should know more. Again, bad producer. Again, producing and talking at the same time. It's like chewing bum. I can't even talk. I can't even say what that is. Bubblegum and walking at the same time. That's it. But no, Falls Count Anywhere, Zoom Rumble. Sorry, Stanley's not decide. He can't decide where the fuck he wants to be. But the Zoom Rumble. But if you like wrestling talk, these guys are professional wrestling talkers. These guys know how to shoot, and they know how to work, brother. These guys shoot themselves into a work. Is that a thing? No, it's a lot of fun. We play games. We talk about wrestling. We talk about what's happening in wrestling. Basically, not just but it's also wrestling from a fan's perspective in the sense that again, they oftentimes share your pounding if you want to. We have great participation from the audience in that one as well. Ian's been a guest many times as a former wrestler himself. We like to get into it kind of again, this is probably the worst explanation of a podcast ever, because I think every wrestling podcast is a podcast from a wrestling fan's perspective. But it's two guys that really don't take it too seriously, but love it to no end. That's the best way to describe Falls Count Anywhere. Is sometimes maybe wrestling didn't really fucking tickle their dicks that week. Maybe they didn't really love what happened. Because if you've been watching it all your life, seeing it, all the repetition over and over and over again, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. It's just like liking punk music. I may love every NoFX album, but just differently. Some people may say that one sucks and I love that one. Who knows? But I think you have your preferences, but it's cool to share. It's cool to kind of find you really find out the performer. You really get to learn to love the performance of it. And I love watching Youngblood and Manny talk about wrestling. So it was pretty simple, for me to produce that podcast. But I appreciate the fact that those guys work with me and are open to new cool things like that. The watch along with the Royal Rumble, inviting people. And if you're a local comic, or if you're just a wrestling fan that you want to join in, you know what I mean? Hit them up on the Instagram, DM either one, Youngblood or Manny, and they'll hook you up with a Zoom link, and you can, if you're going to be watching the Zoom, God damn it, the Royal Rumble. Why do I want to keep calling it the Zoom Rumble? That's what we're doing. What they're doing is the Royal Rumble. Ours isn't very royal. Man, but the picture is so much better on Instagram. I wish I could figure out how to get the audio there, or a camera that good. This one sucks. I found out the more I've used technology. I don't know if you knew this, guys, but still not a fan of technology. I cannot figure out why this camera won't record for me anymore. I've used it. I used it for most of the 6 a.m. podcast that we've done as one of the multiple cameras that we do. By the way, 6 a.m. podcast. You like jiu-jitsu? Check it out. We actually do talk a lot about jiu-jitsu. Jeff he didn't yell at me. I co-host. That's another one that I'm on with my jiu-jitsu professor, Jeffrey Beck. He's a wonderful guy, very funny, very insightful, and super knowledgeable. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. So we do a segment on there too. If you guys ever want to participate with that one, it's called Ask a Black Belt. Doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu related. Can be anything. You can just ask a black belt, someone who is a master of the martial art, anything you want, anything at all. Email those to babymermaidproductions@gmail.com or DM me personally. You can Pat George on Facebook, but don't do it to Jeff because I like him to be a surprise. I like to give him a challenge. I don't let him think about it. The audio is a little behind on the YouTube. Oh well, that sucks. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. I don't understand. Again, it's more technology. It might be something with buffering, or it's the camera, or it's me. It could be anything. Who knows? I'm very sorry, Manny, but it'll be great on the audio only version. Don't worry. Jeff kind of reminded me that he would like to talk about jiu-jitsu for the majority of the show. We still obviously talk about other things, but it's still pretty funny to have that where most of the podcasts, like I'm on with Manny and Youngblood. I don't know a lot about professional wrestling, but I'll try. And they've actually taught me a lot about professional wrestling. And I would really love to do, this is another little goal for this year. I'd love to sometime this year go on a wrestling trip with these guys. You know, go see one of them shows live, but get like some badass seats. I want to hear that meat slap. You know what I mean? I want to hear the bodies slam, if you know what I mean, brother. So I apologize about the audio problem on YouTube. You know, I'll trial and error. I'm going to figure it out though. Don't you worry about it. Mainly though, if you want, this is mainly meant to be, again, like I was saying earlier on in the show, a little bit kind of I'm shooting for a radio vibe here. So really audio only is kind of the way. Streaming is just, that's for the children, you know what I mean? The children, they love streaming. So I'm here for the children. So yeah, what else? 6 a.m. Baby Mermaid Productions YouTube channel. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit like, all that stuff. Even though the audio is a little bit behind, please like the video. Lie to them. They don't need to know that you didn't actually really like the video. Just you like me. You know what I mean? Consider the like not for the content itself, but for the person doing it. Maybe I am asking for a little. Just give, hey, I like this guy. I like what he's trying to do here. Sometimes it's not always about the outcome. It's about the execution, eh? Did I say eh? Jesus. Baby Mermaid Productions. And again, it's the 29th. I wrote it right here. I need to trust myself more. But if you want to see me compete, you can. My February competition is right here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I will be competing in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre at Harrisburg Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo in Lemoyne. That's on the 13th of February. On the 12th of February, though, the night before, you can see me doing stand-up comedy in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, or on the 26th in Annville, Pennsylvania. So come out to those shows. I think one of those is a magic show. I think of the 26th. One of those is a magic show. So I'm going to make fun of a magician to their face. I think he's going on last, though. Do I really want to do that? Do I want to try to discredit a magician right before? Or would that pump him up? Do you know what I mean? Like, would that be kind of like in a jiu-jitsu? I remember in my most recent competition, in one of the matches that I lost, I was told by my opponent to it was he pleaded with me, not really pleaded, he kind of just said, to me, quietly, but not in front of, not so anyone else could hear, come on, don't make me break it. We're in a position where it was not even close to being broken, my arm. But it was a situation where it kind of fueled me up like, all right, dude. But it ultimately not enough to get me out of the position, because then it wasn't a position that was going to break, and I did tap. So tap, snap, or nap, guys. Don't forget it. Those are your three options. So I chose had tap a tap. And Pat, I'm also on that show on the 26th. Oh, shit. Hell yeah. Manny's probably also. See, I knew there were going to be fun shows. I told you. If that's a magic show, me and Manny are going to make fun of a magician. Actually, I don't know. Is there like some kind of code with magicians and jugglers that you can't make fun of each other? I don't know if there's anything like that. Again, Manny hasn't juggled professionally in fucking years. Actually, a year? 2 years? So never mind. He's not a juggler. He's a comic, guys. Don't forget it. But he used to juggle too. I don't know if there's like an unwritten like oath where they're not supposed to like, you are never to dismay or, talk shit about another circus act. Like you can't talk about anybody on stilts or anything.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Don't forget it. But I think I have jokes about magicians though, like disparaging jokes about magicians. So I might make them mad or pump them up. Like I said, like that might just give them like, oh yeah, you think magic's stupid, motherfucker? Watch this, and then boom. Jugglers actually hate magicians, so it's kind of like it's like a beef. That's pretty cool. So maybe Manny will fight a magician. I'll get him mad. He'll get all fired up and he'll be like, fuck you. And you say, what you say to my boy? And then like, bam, and hit him with 3 fucking bowling pins. Perfect. I love it. It's hack in the circus community. Okay, yeah. Magic is hack. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Performance, again, much like wrestling, even magicians, sometimes it's about the performance. I do get that. Just like jugglers. You have a routine, Jesus Christ. And you do it. Quick recap over the weekend. I did not order the UFC. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because the 2 main fights that I was really interested in, the co-main and the main, both title fights, the people that I thought would win didn't. And also both of them went the whole, there was no finish. So that kind of, you know what I mean? There's something about UFC and porn. The only similarity, aside from 2 like almost completely naked people rubbing against each other, is, and that's not in the, and I don't mean that, I meant that just in a literal way. Like you can't avoid that's the comparison. But not only is it that, but I kind of need a finish in both. It doesn't have to be a knockout. It doesn't always have to be, there has to be a finale. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if like at the end of a series, a show, we're rewatching Dexter right now. We finished Dexter New Blood, which is the latest season of Dexter, which is awesome. And we're like, man, Dexter's fucking awesome. And we were like, let's watch all of them again before our showtime runs out, because we canceled it as soon as New Blood was over. But I do want to watch also the Bill Cosby documentary that's coming on that as well. It's like a short miniseries by W. Kamau Bell. Great show. I want to, or actually, I can't say it's a great show yet, but I think an in-depth documentary about Cosby, I think is pretty fucking cool. To really kind of, whether it be like getting like all the facts to all the shit that you thought you knew, or whatever, I don't know. But I think that there is, hold on. I just got a message from Zach. I want to check it just in case. I don't know if it's something pertaining to the show, but I think in either one of them, I need, what was I saying about Dexter? Oh yeah, we're rewatching Dexter. We want to watch that, and imagine at the end of like a season or whatever, there is a oh, okay. That's what it is. All right, never mind. It's about something else. There is I could see the messages on my phone here. That's why I'm sorry. But no, like imagine at the end of a season, season 4 of Dexter. I won't even give away any particulars or anything like that. But anybody that watches Dexter knows season 4 is kind of a fucking banger. It's kind of a great goddamn season. I'd say season 1 and season 4 are probably the best. Season 2 is a close third, which is weird. I didn't like season 3 at all. Holy shit. I was kind of pissed. That's the one with Jimmy Smits, if anybody knows. I'll give a little bit of a spoiler on that one. But imagine at the end of season 4 if they were like, yeah, that's it. You got him. If that it was just like, oh, okay. And everything that was good. But the ending that actually happens, you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You need the it has to be whether it be sex, whether it be UFC, fighting, sex or fighting, or entertainment. And any performance, there needs to be a finale. It needs to be a kapow, a ta-da, something. So I think overall, I'm happy that also there's pay-per-views this year. Not sure if anybody, I don't know if WWE did this either. WWE, but the pay-per-views for UFC at least went up, I think, by like $5, which is kind of unnecessary. I would think is kind of unnecessary, considering what they said was complete. They had complete and total control over the streamers or whatever. They're like, oh, we got a couple big-time streamers. We're gonna get people. You figure with all the lawsuits from those court cases that they would be fined for money. I don't think. And I'm pretty sure they're fined for money. They never stopped They stopped, I think, a couple months during the pandemic, and that's about it. And I know I've definitely bought more pay-per-views this year, or the past couple of years, so I don't know. $276. Weird thing with that, there's probably going to be a fourth fight. The co-main was Davison Figueiredo against Brandon Moreno. And that was the third time they fought. They had one at a draw. Moreno won the last one. Figgy won the third one. And they're talking about fighting possibly for a fourth time. I don't know if I want to continue to see that anymore. That's to put it in the Dexter comparison. Just imagine, as much as cool and as great as season 4 of Dexter is, kind of loses its luster once you start realizing some of the reveals of shit as it goes. We were watching one of the episodes last night, and I go, oh, I think I know who shot that lady. And Dom's like, oh, I have no idea. And I was like, oh, man, I know exactly who it is. And I know exactly the other twist that happens, too. So it was cool, I guess, but it's not as entertaining anymore to see that same thing over and over again. As entertaining, if it's as entertaining as the other two times, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't get as hyped to see it again. You know what I mean? Like by season 4 of it, if we're trying to really binge through this season, through the series again, we're trying to kind of rush it. You know what I mean? Oh, Ian's I gave up on UFC pay-per-views after they went to ESPN Plus. If you want to see any certain fight, I'll go somewhere. Oh yeah, I think because that's a weird thing too. What Ian's talking about is when UFC went to ESPN, they also launched this streaming service, ESPN Plus, which is a paid service. I think it's $5 a month, and it's kind of like ESPN's live broadcaster. So there is it's a lot of soccer, to be honest. But I'm going to tell you something, Ian. I know I've heard a lot of people bitch about having to get the ESPN, to pay for ESPN Plus to be able to be eligible to order pay-per-views, because that's the catch. Much like WWE, I think you have to have the WWE app, I believe, as well, right? So I think they kind of took their model a little bit, but they also, for me, it's a lot cheaper to buy a year of ESPN because I am a huge fan of I watch even the non-pay-per-view UFC events, which there are a lot of. I will say for as much as they've charged for pay-per-views over the years, they've definitely put on a lot of really great free fights. So there's been a ton of great free cards that they've done, even during the pandemic. They were one of the main entertainment sources for me because there wasn't any hockey. So that's the other catch, too, is this year was the first year that they started broadcasting hockey games on ESPN Plus as well. So I'm able to watch the Tampa Bay Lightning and all of the UFC events, as well as other Pro Fighting League, I believe, is also on there. A couple other MMA things. I think they might be associated somewhat with UFC. I don't know for sure, or affiliated or whatever, but maybe not. I don't think they are. But the PFL's on there, as well as UFC. Bellator's on Showtime, but to be honest with you, I haven't even watched it since we've had Showtime. It's something weird about it. If it's on, I'll watch it, but I have not once gone like, oh shit, I'm gonna go watch Bellator. And it's not. I don't mean that as it's good. It's just not. It was not as accessible. It's not. It truly is not as accessible. ESPN Plus, with their on-demand thing, like the features and shit they have, to me is completely. It's worth it to me. I like it so much better now that it's so organized. I'll just sit up here sometimes while I'm editing, and I'll have the TV on right over there as I'm and just have it run through all of the UFC Unleashed. And it's just all these fucking classic fights. I watched a ton of fucking Brock Lesnar fights last week, a bunch of John Jones fights. And it's cool because they also have that too. They have they'll have on YouTube or on Netflix, they'll have what's new, what's, great, and things what's popular. They'll also have playlists of Kamaru Usman's title defenses. That's a playlist. That's cool. That's shit that I'm interested in. So it's a very niche. I understand that. So I get it when people. But Ian, by the way, if you ever want to watch a UFC card, you're more than welcome to come over to. I don't think he's on right now, but hopefully he'll listen to this afterwards. But Ian, you are more than welcome to come to the house and watch. I will be ordering. I think it's March 5th. I already invited Kirk over. It's when Colby Covington is due to fight Jorge Masvidal. That's the next big card that's coming up, I believe. No, that's 272. So I think there's another one before that. But 272, I am definitely planning on buying. Going to be Instacarting my ass off for that one, my friend. Instacart has been another update since I've stopped doing GDP Live. I'm now a part-time Instacarter, just like my friend Manuel Santiago, who's pounding off on YouTube. This guy, that's the first time, by the way, also ever that, when you suggest, they say hey, if you suggest a friend, you get this much, you get whatever, blah, blah, blah. Where I totally did that and made sure that I got that money for Manny, and I fucking did it. It was cool. It was due at least 30 trips in your first 30 days, and you get I can't remember what it was, a fuck ton of money. But I was like, Manny, I'm getting you that money. I'm going to fucking do it. And I did it. I'm very proud of myself. But Instacart, I've noticed doing Instacart, I don't know if Manny has this as well. Probably not, because the person I've been getting there's one, the day job that I have at the pet crematory that I work at part-time. It's a buddy of mine's business that I work for. And every time I've mentioned that I do Instacart to him, he kind of treats it he's like, oh, no, really? Are you really? Oh, well, do you need more hours? Is everything okay? And I'm like, no, I like doing it. It's a weird thing. It's very, you can really, really succeed at Instacart. It's super easy to do. It's kind of fun to do, and it's great. I feel like I'm just doing ads for ESPN Plus and Instacart now. Hell yeah, Carrots up in the house, dude. Manny's a 3-carater. But no, I think it's a fun way, like especially if you're somebody who kind of likes, like I'm weird in that way. Like I kind of like grocery shopping. It's I don't know, and it's great if you like to shop your feelings. If you like to shop your feelings, or if you just like just kind of do, I don't know, it's fucking crazy. It's so weird it's a weird thing to say. Did you talk to Andy at all? What? Do you talk to? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I talk to Andy all the time. I call him all the time. Caleb's pounding off in the comments. Thanks for asking that very specific question. I'm talking about Instacart right now, Caleb. Please don't distract me. No, if there's like, Manny, I think the only bad experience that I'm familiar with anyone really having has been Manny's experience with this cunt who wanted sushi, apparently really bad. Other than that, I feel like if you're just somebody who's like somebody that likes to shop, or if you like to go to the store, it's something. I just like doing a good job. It's a weird fucking thing, man. I don't think a lot of people, like I was talking about earlier in the show, I don't think there's a lot of people that relate to that, where they just, I have no problem working like at fast food or anywhere else. I just want to do a really, it's because it's easy to do a good job there. It's so fucking easy. And all you have to do is just not be a complete fucking dickhead or a fuck up. It's really, like, nowadays, the bar is so low that some of the 5-star ratings that I've gotten on Instacart have been like, because I was like, hey, they don't have that thing. They have another thing that's, like, oh, you wanted 2 cans of fucking tomato sauce. They don't have those, but they have 1 can that's the same amount as those 2 cans. Do you want that? And they're like, oh, you're brilliant. It's just like, no, that's just common sense. It doesn't make any sense to me why that's hard for people, but if that's where we're at, it feels great to do a good job. It feels even better to do a great job, and it's fucking easy as shit. So, like, that's more mindless to me. That's a better, a lot of people say they write on stage for comedy, or they come up with their ideas, in the moment or something like that, or they'll actually sit down and write. I have a hard time really relying on either one of those, especially now since there's been like a huge shutdown, and then they open things back up and it kind of shuts down again, and now we're all like, is it going to happen again? Like, I don't want to like come up with a process that always works. I kind of want to do all of the things, but mainly the best way that I've always come up with any idea, or I start thinking of material, has always been when I'm like driving, or when I'm just doing my shopping, doing mindless things. Just kind of like, all right, well, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. Like, that's when it always, I feel like it really has been the most beneficial. So that's been something that not a lot of people did during the lockdown, during shutdown and shit like that, unless they continue to work. So with Instacart, it's a lot of those things. It's a lot of just mindless, easy work. That's fucking, and it's pretty easy money. I think today there's a fucking special going on. I bet Manny's hauling ass out there. Maybe not. I don't know. He's pounding off in the comments. But just to close up on UFC 270, the big thing that I thought was crazy was Francis Ngannou, who is the ginormous African man that everybody's seen on the commercials, the kind of flat top guy, humongous, super nice guy. I've always heard super nice guy, but they were kind of trying to villainize him. I think in the pre-fight thing, they were trying to, they gotta, just like wrestling, Manny, just like anything else, they gotta have the heel, you gotta have the hero or whatever it may be. But this time, I feel like they were kind of, I don't know. It was also his last fight on his contract, so it kind of felt like the UFC was trying to, like, I don't know. It's so weird. I know money's an issue, but I can't imagine a UFC champion well, Khabib did it, but he retired. But to leave an organization as the champion, that I know particularly Manny has told me that is a big no-no. If you leave an organization and bring as the champion in wrestling and you go to another organization before losing that belt to somebody else or relinquishing it, right? I think it's something like that. No promos for me. No promos for you today? Oh, no. So that was just for me? Oh, man, I should do it. Are you sure? Oh, wait. Oh, you're not doing it today, maybe. Maybe that's it. But I think if you... I think that's the rule. I think the rule is, like, if you leave one outfit to go to another outfit and without relinquishing the title or losing the title, putting someone over, I believe is the term. That's promo talk right there, my friend. I think there's like that's in poor taste. So but I would not put this on Francis Ngannou. I wouldn't put it on him to say like, oh, he's going to be. I don't think he's the problem, man. Like to me, I thought he was a celebrity. He's in Jackass. Oh, that's not really, that doesn't make you the biggest celebrity, I guess, ever. But he's in like the latest Jackass movie. Like he's doing a ton of promo. As far as for the UFC, he's like in weird like Toyo tire ads. Like that guy gets paid in other ways for sure. But the UFC itself doesn't seem to be really paying him a lot of money. So. And in his mind, not a lot of respect, which totally makes sense. I have a hard time feeling bad for him to say like he's going out there putting his life on the line. Like I don't know, I think anybody that goes against Francis Ngannou is putting their life on the line. I think he's putting his putting into the universe the possibility that he may lose a match. I think that's about it. I think he might get beat on points. I don't think he's going to get submitted. I don't think he's going to get knocked out ever. I don't think that's ever going to happen. That guy is I just saw a video of him picking up Shaq. Shaq at the end of the video informed the camera after most of the other people had left that that was the first time I've ever gotten picked up. That's the first time I've ever gotten picked up by somebody. Was Francis Ngannou, and Francis Ngannou did it pretty effortlessly. All Shaq kept saying to him was, man, you're no body fat. You got no body fat. Man, you got no body fat. Like he was astonished that he had no body fat. But it's true. He has no body fat. Zero. None. Apparently he tore his MCL and ACL a couple weeks ago before this fight. So I have a hard time saying he's going out there, he's putting his life on the line. But he is. He is just like anybody else. He could get his leg Anderson Silva just like anyone else. We've seen it, Connor, seen it with Chris Weidman, seen it with Anderson Silva. That's why it's called the Anderson Silva. When you get rubber leg, it happens. And he's got big old bones, man. That guy's big. He's a big guy. So it's different for everyone. Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter. So it's not necessarily hard and fast rule, but I just think that I wouldn't put it on him to say, figure it out. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I like watching him fight a lot. The next fight that's supposed to happen, I believe, is supposed to be, if I remember correctly, I think it's supposed to be, it's either going to be Stipe and Ngannou again, which would be crazy. That would be great to see. Or possibly John Jones against Francis Ngannou. And I think Francis Ngannou wants to make sure his contract is nice and fat, let's just say, before that John Jones fight, because that's going to be huge. It's going to be, needless to say, Ian, I will be ordering that pay-per-view. I will definitely be ordering that pay-per-view. I don't know. But it doesn't look great because in the co-main, Dana White was there. Dana White puts the belt on everyone no matter what. Hey, John, what's going on, buddy? GDP Live's back. I don't know if you know that. But Dana White puts the belt on every winner, every champion, no matter what. He's in the ring, puts it on the no matter what. So when like 50 minutes before the end, the main event, he was there. He put the belt on Figueiredo. Boom. Hey, dude, what's going on, dude? But no, he put the belt on Figgy, but once Ngannou won, it was a decision. Dana White was not even in the building. Apparently he left before the end of the fight, and I think that was because he was seeing the fact that Francis Ngannou was winning, and didn't want to put the belt on him. I don't know, but doesn't look good for contract talks. Let's just say I don't think that's. I don't know if that's like a tactic or something, but like it seems or a mind game thing or whatever. But it just sounds kind of crazy to think, or it seems pretty crazy to think that like treating one of your champions like that, like it's still this like contractually, it's like he's your fighter at least until the end of that fight. So maybe he was just thinking like, I have no obligation to him once the air horn thing, or once the ref calls it or whatever. Like once there's a decision made, I don't have to be there. But you would think out of it, like it seems very, very disrespectful. And Francis Ngannou does not seem like the kind of person I would love to disrespect, especially if I'm doing business with him. But I can't imagine that is a good sign that Francis Ngannou, but I think Francis Ngannou totally has complete and total control as far as negotiations, because he's a huge name. He's he's also somebody who has like the next fight. People give more of a shit about his next fight now, watching his performance against Cyril Gane. I think more than ever. Like to me, I felt like it was going to be a huge issue with John Jones's weight, the fact that if he can stay out of fucking jail, and also just the fact that John Jones is such a skilled wrestler, would he be able to overpower Ngannou or anything like that? But can you just leave with the belt? Yeah, I think he could have. See, okay, so maybe it does get worse, John. That's a good point. John Montag said, Montague spelled Montag said, it's been a while, so I'm a little rusty. Pounding off in the Instagram comments, very good point. He could have just left with the belt. Could have been worse. I think a lot of times what I did realize, which I've shared it multiple times on GDP in the past, but it just astonishes me when I found out that it's not the same belt. They get a new belt each time. So, yeah, Dana White could have just left with the belt, and it could have been like a really shitty, like the world's worst ring bearer, and like, you know, like, all right, well, do you have the rings? And they just go like, stall, keep going, keep going. I don't know though. He could have. But when they don't come there with the belt, like when they take pictures with the belt beforehand, for the promo and everything like that, it's just like a stock belt. I don't even think that's the belt they get. There's not specific ones. I don't think the heavyweight one says heavyweight. I think they just get a belt. They just get a belt that says UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, and they have the thing on it, and then they get a little diamond with a little etching that says when they won the belt, and they get a diamond for each defense. So, and after you fill up a plate, you get a new plate. It's kind of like the Stanley Cup. They keep replacing the rings. So that's a new thing that they have. That really takes away from the lure of the belt. That's what I was saying. I always thought, I know. You know what? I can't say that I know. I've always been led to believe that fact because of professional wrestling. So I don't know if it's the same in professional wrestling, but I'm pretty sure that they're like, hey, do you want this title? Because at the end they come in with the belt. They go, look at this belt. I got the belt. I'm the champion. And then they give it to the referee. The referee says this. It is one of these. And then hands it to them, points, and then boom. Bam. Much like UFC. There's a lot of parallels here. I'm not saying the UFC stole the idea from professional wrestling, but I would love actually to know that. Where did belts come from? When were belts invented? Speaking of plugs, another new project that's come up from in the peep world that you guys should be checking out is the Handsome Idiots podcast. Not video, I don't believe, only audio. So make sure to check out the Handsome Idiots podcast with Peep himself, John Montag. What does he say here? Maybe they need to get rid of the belt system and go to a more practical suspender system. I like that. And you get a strap for each one. So like you win the first one, you get to hold up this part of your belt, your pants or whatever, and then the next one. So where did championship belts come from? Boom. All right. Early history. The first given as a prize for accomplishments within the ring was presented in 1810. Holy fuck! By King George III to bare-knuckle boxers Tom Cribb after he defeated Tom... Oh, man, I thought this was going to be... I swear to God, I thought this guy was named Tom Malarkey, but it's Tom Molyneux? Molyneux? M-O-L-I-N... It kind of looks like your name, John. M-O-L-I-N-E-A-U-X. So wait, so... Bare-knuckle boxer. After he defeated... So Tom Molyneux lost. Maybe that's just how he said his name after he lost the bare-knuckle boxing match. By the way, the picture next to it is a UFC belt. I don't think he got a UFC belt in 1810. You know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take that name thing back. I think it's a perfectly fine name because apparently he was also an American former slave. So I think that he's great. Tom Molyneux, great guy. Love him. Love every bit of him. I hope he's still fighting today. Oh, he's probably not. 1810. That's a long time ago. Handsome Idiots is great. Yeah, see? Manny's a fan. Manny's a fanny. Maybe they need to get rid of... Yeah. John also says, great save. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, John. So 1810, and technically, fighters had it first. So wrestlers stole it from fighting. Fighting. I don't want to say it like that. Fighting. But, so...
Fuck them.
I think we know now. When did boxing come out? Is boxing gay? For the first ever WC. I don't give a shit. I don't like those. They look like the 24/7 belt from WWE. Speaking of wrestling, we got wrestling peeps here right now. So we're gonna shift a bit to wrestling. I think the WBC belt looks an awful lot like the 24/7 belt. And I think I said that in the moment when they introduced it, but that's a little troublesome for me. And I think I know it's the same belt every boxer had. That bothers me when you see the boxers that come out. See, there is a line. So like, imagine if UFC fighters brought out every belt they won. See, I would rather them come out with the belt, one belt. They just have it right around here or even around the waist if they want. Not a lot of them wear it around the waist. They like to have it. Who doesn't like to have a fucking strap over their shoulder, man? Fucking put that over there or rock it, put it up in the air. Do something like that. Carry it out. It's a good warm-up. It's a little heavy. I think they're 35-pound belts. Wear it. That's only going to help your cardio. I wish that it was more like you said, it kind of takes away from, like John was making a great point with, like, if you have the, like, that I took your championship away. I think you should get some kind of memento, maybe a ring. When you win the Stanley Cup, you don't get to keep the Stanley Cup. I get it, but it's the same cup that everybody wins. You get a little ring. You get a little thing just for you. I won the championship that time. Cool. But I want that cup again. Give me that cup again. You know what I mean? Because you want it back. So you win the belt. You relinquish it to the referee. The referee takes it and says, thank you. And then they go, this is what we're fighting for, gentlemen. You ready for it? And they go, yeah. Because guess what? Now it's nobody's belt. Now the referee has it. Again, John brought up a great point. He could just take it home. But he doesn't. They set it over there. And, a couple times during the fight, boom, you're punching each other. you know, whatever. You look over and you go, I can see it. It's right there. You know what I mean? All I need to do is kill this guy. Boom. There you go. Or lady. I have to kill this guy or lady. What does he say? That's a great FCA top three ways to wear the belt. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna write that down, John. Great idea. See that? Oh, I mean, I know I had it, but still, top 3 ways to wear the belt. I like that. Start thinking of it, Manny. I spelled wear wrong. I didn't have to tell you that, but I wanted to tell everybody that. Guys, I just put top 3 ways to wear, as in WHERE. I spelled it right, but I spelled it wrong for the occasion. Wear a belt. I'll know what I mean. The belt. I'm going to put the. How about the? You know? Yeah, put that. But I think there needs to be, if anything, if I'm Francis Ngannou, what I'm going to say is I want to fight Stipe again for the championship again. But I tell you what, you pay me a little bit more money. But if Stipe really wants this fight, I'll fight him for belts. If he beats me, he gets my belt, my latest belt. If I beat him, I get his latest belt. And then that way there's one less on your... They both got a couple on the wall. They hang them up. They don't even... Some of them, a lot of times, it really kind of bothers me. They're like, oh, I don't even know where it is. I don't even know where my belt is. Like, what the fuck, man? Where what? Where the belt? Where the belt? I think belt made of money. That'd be cool. But I think a lot of people, or a fanny pack would be cool with like a cool pin on the front. That'd be cool too. I don't know. But, yeah, I think overall, I think the UFC should probably, hey guys, I would never ever fucking even venture a guess and to say why they wouldn't want Francis Ngannou fighting for them and why they wouldn't, like, I think the Jake Paul thing kind of, like, he has mentioned how much that has helped fighters and fighter pay and bringing attention to fighter pay and fighter health benefits and all this other bullshit. But really, I think it's just kind of, it might end up fucking us over because I kind of feel like that Francis Ngannou could probably pretty handily take most of the heavyweights in Bellator. The UFC does seem to be, let's just say, I think there was a flex recently from Bellator, the owner of Bellator, that said, or at least the president of Bellator, sorry, said that that they have the best light heavyweight division. And it's like, no, I cannot imagine any of those guys. Anybody could knock anybody out, essentially. I understand that. It's a puncher's chance. I understand that there's a possibility, but I'm saying as far as like the level of they have a whole fucking like institute where they have professionals that put you in a fucking cryo chamber. You know what I mean? Like they have like the bullshit basically everything Joe Rogan's ever talked about on his podcast health-wise, they have it. Horse dewormer as well, included. Yes, I made that joke too. I don't understand that either. There's been a level of hatred towards Joe Rogan. I don't love the guy. I don't give a fuck. But I don't understand why that's been the huge topic of conversation over, like, haters gonna hate. I understand that. But, like, he also could still kick the shit out of you. So don't disrespect Francis Ngannou. Try not to disrespect Joe Rogan because they could both kick the shit out of you easily and afford to get away with it. Even with Francis Ngannou not making what he wants to make, I still wouldn't disrespect him. So I think you should pay him, not I guess whatever he wants. I don't know, but pitch the belt thing to him. That would be a good way to save money. That's a lot of gold on that belt, Dana. That's a lot of gold, buddy. It's a lot of gold. So Meatloaf died. Louie Anderson died. Bob Saget died. Betty White died. I gotta be honest, I wasn't necessarily as broken up about it as a lot of people said they were on social media, but not in a shitty, like, I don't mean that to be, I don't mean it to be dismissive of them. I mean it to more of a, like, I think everything I was gonna get out of them. And I don't mean that to sound like that I'm not saying that I think that they, fuck them, I'm done with them, they should die. But, like, I guess Louie Anderson, like, I totally grew up watching that guy. Love Louie Anderson. Betty White also, like, but I wasn't necessarily a Betty White fan. Does that make sense? Like, or a Bob Saget fan. They were all kind of like in the group. Like, if your favorite band, like, the lead singer didn't die, but like Slipknot to me has quite a few members that could die, and have died recently over the past couple of years, that I've been like, yeah, he's got a mask. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know that was that guy's name. So and it's not like a shitty thing, but it's also like, I don't really love Slipknot per member. I kind of just like Slipknot, the band. You know, that's cool. I'll listen to Slipknot, and then they go like, what was his name? Joey Jurgensen? Jurgen Jurgensen? My boss had to Google who Meatloaf was. Yeah, see, you know what I mean? Meatloaf, everybody, the Robert Paulson thing, right? Fight Club, cool. All right, you know, cool. Thanks, Meatloaf. I like Meatloaf. I liked Meatloaf when he did he did a song with Tenacious D, Kickapoo. Great song, love it. He was in the Tenacious D movie, love it. I like Meatloaf. The food, the person, the singer, the actor, but it's also like, Meatloaf died. Can you believe it? Yeah. He's old. He's old and fat. He's an old fat guy. It happens. Same thing with Louie Anderson. Holy shit, I'm so happy. Love Baskets. Love Louie Anderson. Life with Louie was one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons. That's where I got to know him. Then he was just always around. I kind of feel the same. Like Gilbert Gottfried is another person where, like, I am very entertained with Gilbert Gottfried. I think he's great. But, like, when he dies, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah. You know, like, they're not necessarily, like, the most prolific. And it's something weird about that, right? Where why does it take somebody dying for you to tell everyone how much you love them? Like, in that sense. Like, everybody else. Why is that such a thing? And maybe this is the the sociopath in me that doesn't understand, like, human connection or anything, but just trying to be transparent here, guys. But I feel there's kind of a thing where, like, did Louie Anderson dying really fuck you up that much? I love him in Baskets. Think he should be honored by his loved ones for sure, but, like, I'm not his loved one. You know, I think it should be a reaction for sure, like that kind of thing of like, oh shit, really? Damn. You know what I mean? Or the Betty White story is kind of funny in a sense, because they, like, the whole People magazine thing, putting out the issue where she's like, made it to 100, and it's like, nope, she died yesterday. So love you too, Cricket. Hell yeah. But there's still like there's a level of like, do you really care? Now, Betty White was just one of those people that are like, everybody you can't say shit. You can't really say anything shitty about Betty White, because, like, there really wasn't, like, she wasn't. Yeah, literally. I'm legitimately trying to think of something shitty to say about her. But again, she's 99. They're like, oh my god, you know. Okay, yeah, that was gonna happen. It happens, and I was upset when Gene Wilder died, but, like, Gene Wilder also hadn't done anything in fucking years. I love all of what Gene Wilder has already done, but he's not gonna do anything else like that. In this case, let's just say, right? Bob Saget, possibly. Bob Saget could have been, like, he was still, in my opinion, like, there's still, but even still, like, people were saying about his, like, oh, he's such, he's a stand-up comedian. People didn't realize he was, that kind of stand-up comedy, like that's where everybody's stories or people sharing about him were like was news fucking like 30 years ago. So it kind of, or even 20 years ago, let's just say 22 some odd years ago, people were like, did you know Bob Saget says cunt sometimes? And he's also kind of dirty. It's pretty gross. So that, like, I love Bob Saget. I hope it went peace. Still don't know if we know actually. Do we know how he died yet? Let me see here. How did Bob Saget die? How did Bob Saget die? Let's see. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I was trying to use the mouse. No cause of death was immediately announced. Foul play and drug use were ruled out by the sheriff and the medical examiner. News of Saget's death broke. Broadcast America's. Yeah, see, his credits that they give during a broadcast. That's not true. News of Saget's death broke during a broadcast of America's Funniest Home Videos in Eastern and Central time zones, and ABC interrupted the program to announce it. Really? I don't think that's true. I think Google is perpetuating wives' tales. Did you listen to Nikki Glazer's song? No, I heard about that. I did not hear. Let me actually find that. That's a good point, John. Thank you for reminding me. Nikki, I legitimately heard it. Somebody talk about it on Jim and Sam, and Nikki Glazer's, and they were like, well, we don't want to. They're like, we don't want to. Like, we don't want to. Nikki's our friend. We they don't. I think they were concerned that it wasn't going to be very good. So I think they were worried that to play it live on the air. So I am not a friend of hers, but I do want to know. It's picked a different song. Let's see. Song about Bob Saget. Yeah, that's what I meant, Google. When I was down, you brought me. Let me just read so this is a experiencing grief. All right, there we go. Of course, there's an ad. Cool music, though. Listen to Legion of Skanks episode. They make fun of Nikki Glazer's song. Well, I can just play it. This is it. Wait, hold on. I got a pop-up ad. Are you abandoning Trump and the Republicans? Yes or no? How about X? In the song title. Oh, wait. Oh, cool. This is just a thing. This is just a cool video where they just keep showing a slow pan away from a picture of Bob Saget and Nikki Glazer with weird, stupid music and fucking subtitles. Yay! So maybe I want to find the song, right? Did they take it down? And remade their own Bob Saget tributes. That's awesome. I'm going to check that. Yeah, I'll check out the Legion of Skanks episode, Manny. Thank you very much for that. Apparently they make fun of the song and then make their own songs about it. That's pretty awesome. I think she wrote and recorded it before he died, though. Whoa. So wait, hold on. She recorded it with Matt Pond, PA. What? Matt Pond, PA? What's that? Who is an incredible musician. Okay, cool. So it would be wonderful if there was a song somewhere. If there's a song for it, that'd be cool. Was it on Instagram? Here it is. All right, we got it. So here's. And just to be clear, this was not a joke, right? The request. Hold on. I got you, buddy. I might not be able to hear you. I don't know if you might want to call in, John. 717-559-2971, and you can pound off if. Oh, there you are. Hey, how's it going, buddy? eating a cereal bar. You sound good. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that legitimately this was, and then she released it like that's the thing is a lot of people were doing that where they're like, I met Bob Saget on this day. Like I get the thing. Like I had a personal interaction with this guy. He's so cool. He was such a nice guy. Love him. But like people like me and you that are just like, oh, fucking gutted right now. It's like, no, you're not. When was the last time you mentioned Bob Saget? You know what I mean?
It's everyone rushes to. I love to like a lot of the podcasts we talk about too, but like all the comics that have rushed to find like a picture of them and Bob Saget,
Yeah.
and then post like how much he meant to them. Like you said, it's like why don't you post that just on like a Tuesday when he's alive then?
Yeah, it's kind of like or on his birthday or something. You know what I mean? Like there's kind of there's a thing where with Betty White, like if they're super old, I go like, no, it's not. They're not yours. You don't get them. If they're younger, like Bob Saget's like 60ish, you know, something like that. He was 65, 60 something, right? Right. Like, and we all grew up with him. Like we all like have nostalgia, sure, but it's still more of a case of like I don't know, man. Like I gotta call bullshit. I don't think you were a Bob Saget fan. I don't think you actually really loved Bob Saget. I used to love watching Bob Saget on TV, but even then, as a kid, I was kind of like, this guy's kind of a pain in the ass. It's kind of like,
You were a fucking dork.
right? Yeah, he was the least funny or cool character. I was a Joey guy. I love Joey. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be a ventriloquist. I wanted to change my name to Joey. Yeah, cut it out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you get better than that? Go to bed, Michelle. Fuck off.
He was like, I mean, he was funny on the show. He did what he had to, and then you found out later he was dirty. But it's like, yeah, he wasn't your favorite on that show.
Manny says they remade the Bob Saget thing, but Big J and Josh Adam Myers did a version using Linkin Park's "In the End," which is pretty fun. That's hilarious. They talk about what you guys are talking about in Legion of Skank. That's pretty funny. That I had that's it's legitimately, but it's not just him. It's like Louie Anderson. Like, dude, I loved Louie Anderson, and I absolutely loved you can't think of Louie Anderson without thinking of Howie Mandel, because both of them had Saturday morning cartoons, which I fucking loved, which I'm sure everybody loved. But like, that was then. I don't fucking give a fuck about Howie Mandel now. Like right now, what he's been doing lately, I cannot stress enough. I don't give two fucks about what Howie Mandel is doing. He used to do some really great work that I love, though. But if he died, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't believe he's dead. Like, he was old when you were young, stupid. Why don't you think he's dead?
From now on, can you please, anytime a celebrity dies, do that exact reaction? And just name it. Leave it stock. You don't have to say their name.
Okay, yeah, I'll just actually cut this video. I'll just save the Instagram video, and I'll just cut this, or the YouTube or anything. I'll just have it just going, what the fuck? Who'd you... George Bush is dead! I just kind of turn into a little bit of an emotional Hulk each time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think either way, though, I don't know if I can listen to the song. Like, I heard the start of it, and knowing that it's not a joke, right?
No, I think it's like she's like a heartfelt song. She's just like flexing her muscles of like, I want to try a different thing. Not just jokes and tits.
Well, I'd never thought of her as tits. So she's not a bad singer. It's not like
So like the music behind it is like solid.
yeah.
Because he's like
think it's kind of like it's too serious. Like if it was like, I fucking love Bob Saget so much because, like, I don't know, like if it was like a serious, but I don't know, like I can't take it seriously no matter how much you take, you know what I mean? Like it's hard not to laugh at this, and not like not in a mean way, but like in a way of like, yeah, because who like feels this way, and this would be the only person I would accept somebody going when somebody dies, is if you already wrote a song about how much you love them when nobody fucking else was doing it. So actually, I've come full circle on this. No matter how bad I think this is, I respect the fuck out of it because she was the only person that 2 years ago was confessing her love on wax about Bob Saget. You know what I mean?
The tough thing too is like you're listening to it and you know Nikki Glaser is a comic, so the whole time you're just waiting for this to be like a heartfelt build up to like a fart joke,
right?
Or like an aristocrat's punchline. Like if this was just a 3-minute build and at the end she just had like an aristocrat's joke in there, like then you're like, all right, I went along for the ride and you got me. Right. But no, it's just like, I love you, the end. Like,
Well, yeah, when it's like when it's somebody saying just at the end of it like, love you, bud, see you later. It's just kind of like, like was that funny? You got like I would listen to it again and just be like, wait, what are the lyrics? Like what is like I can't. Yeah, and that I guess that's the creepy part. So I don't understand how we can rule out foul play. Seems like Nikki Glaser made it off this guy because she's like, I got to release this song. It's getting fucking stale. I got to put this out there.
I think we just first 48'd this and we just discovered something. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, she was obsessive. Yeah. What the fuck? She's like, if I had known you would have died, I would have changed it. Like, what are you talking about?
Did she write this just knowing one day he's gonna die?
Yeah. That's fuck that. Hold on, I'd be insulted as shit if I would like. He can't be, but I would be like, hey man, you thought I was gonna die before? You just knew that I was gonna die before? Did you write one just in case, saying like, hey, Bob Saget, I just want to let you know, since I died first, I really love you, and that time we were hanging out at the table was a lot of fun. Like, she didn't even write one of those, like, hey, maybe you die first. Maybe car accident, maybe COVID, something like that. But all of a sudden, she's just like, I'm definitely going to outlive Bob Saget, so I better write the song to let Bob Saget know. Did she do this with every... I can't wait to hear, like, like holy fuck, my dad died. Yeah. Is this premeditated now? Is this voluntary manslaughter? Did she put it out in the universe?
She's reading the lyrics out loud for like a Dave Attell song that she wrote. She's like, I never knew you'd take a knife to the heart so easily. Like, what the fuck?
These are too specific, Nikki. I thought this said Andy Malafarina, but it says Andy Marina or Anya Maria Marina. I thought it said. I just read it Andy Malafarina. I was like, damn, Andy's in this. I feel bad.
Andy's gonna be judging roast battle that I'm in. So.
Oh, nice. Who are you going to get up against?
Paul Carson, one of the best joke writers in South Jersey. So I'm very nervous, and I selected him.
Oh wow.
Go against. Yeah.
Hey man, you know what? Iron sharpens iron. That's the only way you're gonna get better. Let's go up against the best.
Iron defeats soft whatever metal I'm made out of, and I cry on the drive home tonight while eating a Wawa pretzel. So there's that.
Do you get mustard with that sumbitch?
No, come on. That's a car snack. Not in the car. I can't risk mustard.
Yeah, I appreciate that too because sometimes you wear your food. Sometimes you get a little bit of tie-dye that you had not expected. Yeah, just wear yellow. And yeah, wear yellow to the roast battle because that definitely won't backfire on you.
At all.
I appreciate you pounding off, dude. Thanks for joining in live. Everybody, John Montag for helping us with the Nikki Glaser, reminding us of the tribute paid to Nikki Glaser. Also, maybe, possibly not just a tribute, also an admittance of guilt. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. If your friends are there, keep your distance.
Hell yeah, buddy. Thanks so much, man. See ya. Good luck tonight. So don't forget, like, it's a little bit, obviously the audio is not perfect, but you can somebody wants me to get naked, be very passionate. Okay, that's cool. Dom's pounding off. Hey, sorry, missed a couple of these. All right. But no, I think there's a level of, like, I don't think it's a good song in the sense that it's just not something I necessarily would normally listen to. Let's just say it that way. But in every other way, I kind of do respect the shit out of it because of the fact that this is exactly what I was just bitching about. If she didn't have one about Betty White, she didn't have one about Louie Anderson, or maybe she does and saw the fact that maybe I shouldn't release anymore. First one didn't go great. But it does go great. How can this not be the best case scenario for this? Because legitimately, this is what I was talking about. This is somebody who truly loved Bob Saget, and was willing to admit it on actual recording. Wrote lyrics about specific times and fun. The only weird part is the fact that she said, "Oh yeah, I knew you were gonna die. Yeah, you're gonna die. So I'm gonna write the song because of your." Why did you have to bring that up? Why did you have to bring it up? I don't know why, but I don't want to listen to the rest of it. But check out Nikki Glaser's Instagram. That's where I found the song. She posted it with a pretty cool picture that she had of Bob Saget, and you know what? She's walking the walk, just like everybody else, talking the talk. So if you don't love Bob Saget as much as she does, that makes it nobody. I'm sure Meatloaf possibly will get some kind of song. I don't think Louie Anderson, but again, Louie Anderson, much like some of the other comics here, were people that we grew up watching. So in that sense, the nostalgic part of me is very much sad. Also, another thing that made me really sad that happened recently, Every Time I Die completely broke up. One of my favorite bands. That was something that I kind of saw happening. It's something that I notice a lot of times with bands that kind of have their. Hold on, did I get a call? Why did it not make a noise? Whoever tried to call a little bit ago, try again. Maybe I don't know who that was, but somebody tried to call into the number. But sorry. Yeah, Every Time I Die breaking up hurts way more than Saget. Yeah, because like I've loved them already. They were somebody that was to see, even somebody that I was really enjoying how they were growing as a band, and there was somebody that I always like to brag about because like they were a band that didn't suck. Oh, Manny called. Sorry, Manny. Manny, call back if you want. You're more than. I don't know why it didn't fucking ring, but call back if you want to. Or maybe we found out their phones are down. I didn't realize. Yeah, exactly. I have their logo tattooed on my goddamn shin. I've got art, but like I said, the way that they were growing as a band was really cool because one of the guitar players, Jordan, was getting into was really into art, like painting and different graphic design and stuff like that. And nope, I don't want to. Okay, that's fine. Hey, Manny, no pressure. You do not have to call in. But if anybody else wants to call in, 717-559-2971, and you will be through the audio, hopefully. Not like John, where I had to keep putting the mic over there. I'll probably have an Instagram mic. That might actually be a good idea. Maybe I'll do that, and I'll just turn it up when somebody calls in. But Every Time I Die was a band that, as they went along, also Andy, the other guitar player, Andy Williams, started wrestling for AEW. He started at an independent level. He's somebody that truly did work his way up to that while being in one of my favorite bands. So, like, when you're a prolific artist and an incredible performer in more than one field, it's very admirable, I would say, and I almost said admirable. I always say that. Admirable, or it's enviable. It's envious. I'm envious of his ability to do the things that I love. Any one of them. Each one of them was doing it. The lead singer, Keith Buckley. I'm talking about the core members. The core members of Every Time I Die. Each were doing other things. Now, he was going into writing, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? You're going to lose me. But he's such a cool guy that it kind of negates. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're some dork that's writing words now. Boring, but cool that you're expressing yourself. I think much like a lot of party bands, it kind of started. The splinter kind of started with I believe Keith getting sober or becoming sober, or I don't know if he's in a program or if he's just not drinking anymore. But I think that kind of started an opposition in the band. It was the dudes that fucking partied and then the dude that kind of did his own thing and would be separated. Now, for a band like NoFX, they've been doing this for 20 plus years with their drummer, who was a heroin addict, who doesn't drink or is completely sober at this point. So when all of the other people would do it, he would have his own room specifically so that they wouldn't have to, he wouldn't have to be exposed to it if he didn't want to be. He could go have his own space. And that's something that they, as a band, showed him as a sign of respect. I don't know if that was extended, and I don't know if it's because two of the members of this band are related. I'm just coming to this conclusion that if maybe I was in a band with somebody, like let's say I was in a band with John or Manny or Andy or any of these guys, right? If any one of them said, hey man, I just need to take some time. I can't, mentally I'm just at my end now. I might be like, hey man, totally, fuck yeah. Like, take your time. Your family's what's important, blah, blah, blah. Go for it. But if I was in a band with my brother and my brother came to me and said, hey man, I just need to take a break. Like, I mean, you hear how my voice changed just then? Hey man, I need to take a break. Like, I would start repeating it to him as he's telling me, oh, you need to take a break. Oh, baby needs to take a break. You know what I mean? So I wonder how much this feud was amplified, because it's a rock band. Do you get it? By the sheer fact that two of the members were related and probably ultimately do give a shit about. They love each other just like their family. Hey, family, I love them, but right? It always comes down to because you kind of just you're so comfortable with them. Even when you get so comfortable with friends, you may snap at them, you may show them that side, but you're never going to truly just, and not even that you don't, like, I love them, but it's also like, shut up, baby, just keep going. Oh, you don't want to drink anymore? Okay, fine. Then don't drink. I wonder if that's something, if there is like a level of professionalism that's lost somewhere, even in a huge band like Every Time I Die that has like a staff and has like fucking like lawyers and shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're not just a band. They're a band that's signed to a record label that has like to me there's they're not just a band. They're a band that's signed to a record label. Okay, but I kind of felt like this was on its way. Just in the past couple weeks, I've noticed there's been stories that have popped up on my feed that are like, they've kind of been bickering. They've been airing. This is why I think the family thing has a dynamic with it, because they're airing a lot of dirty laundry online, and I noticed that with a lot of family incidents, a lot of family altercations. They seem to have this kind of like a, well, if you had done this, then I wouldn't have to do this. Like, there's a lot of not wanting to be the bigger man or not wanting to be. I don't even know how to put it. Like, I don't feel like there's a right way to put it aside from saying, like, they just don't care enough about each other. They're each other's emotions. Let's just say I don't know what it is, like it or their feelings or whatever it is. Something got lost, and I would venture a guess to say it has something to do with the fact that I think this side of the opposition was led by Jordan, which is a guitar player brother, and who's probably the leader of the party group. You know, the bass player, other guitar player, and drummer. And I think it came to a head when Keith says that he overheard them talking about replacing him as the lead singer. So I don't know the behind the scenes. I gotta be completely honest though. I've seen Every Time I Die multiple times, lots of times. I won't say plenty because I'll just say a lot. And so if they never happen to get back together again, I feel honored that I got to see them and truly entertained and also excited. This kind of excites me. When my favorite band of all, like one of my all-time favorite bands, when they break up and decide and say like, this is we are no longer, this is it. We're calling it quits. It kind of just gets me excited because I know there's going to be a documentary. Because I know there's people that love them as much as I do. But there's people that are also more motivated and more talented than I that are willing to put together an entire documentary in depth about the start to finish story, beginning to end, of Every Time I Die. And I look forward to that. You know, every record that they would put out, every new album they put out, I would always say, I bet this is the one where they start stinking it up. This is it. Because I feel like it's coming. It's got to be coming. But every fucking time, it gets better and better and better. And I'm like, there's no way they can keep this pace. Like, you can't, I can't imagine it getting to a point where, where they're, like, I don't think they'll ever get the respect that they deserve, truly. The Butcher, yeah. The Butcher, yeah, absolutely. The Butcher and the Blade, yeah. He's one of the guitar players. But there's a I don't think they ever will get the respect that I truly believe they've earned. I won't even say deserve. Earned. They fucking earned it. They toured like crazy. They burnt themselves out years ago and still kept the same pace years after that. There's documentaries that would come out with a lot of their albums that would be like Eat Shit was a great documentary, I think. The one that came with, I believe it's Scudder Phenomenon. A lot of times, special edition CDs, you get an extra thing or whatever. In my day, we'd get special edition DVDs with our... but I feel like they were truly an entertaining band and never really stopped. They never stopped. They had an incredible pace, and for the output that they had, for it to be not just the same album over and over again, like some of these bands can do. A lot of bands do it. A lot of bands, like, I feel like... I was just thinking, I can't remember the fucking band I was thinking of that does this, but like there's bands where they'll kind of go through. I think NoFX kind of does it a little bit, where they start to experiment with this album at the end of this album, and then they do like 2 or 3 albums kind of in that style, and they try another thing. I'm fine with that too, but like it's either one of those things. Either they're growing or changing, and you like it or you don't. But like this was not even like. I don't even feel like this was subjective. It was getting so much better with each album that with the pace that they're on, and with added pressures of like if there's conflict for one person not wanting to participate in fucking partying or whatever the fuck it is, or if it's a you changed, man, you fucking mental health, whatever, blah blah blah. I don't know what it is, but I know for a fact this is gonna lead to a fucking awesome documentary and probably a great book by Keith. Something tinged. Am I still streaming? All right, good. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say something about the butcher and the blade. But with the amount of work that each one of them were doing, it kind of felt like they were just kind of preparing themselves for I think they were all growing apart already. So but I just couldn't wrap my mind around them not still being a band. So it kind of got to a point where seeing this happening, it still didn't make more sense. It didn't make any sense to me still, but it still got to a point where I can see how it happened. I can see where it led to, how it led to this. So I don't know. Keith's fiction book is slow and boring. I may need to try to get into it again. Well, that's a ringing endorsement, John. His book is slow and boring. I should try it out. Yeah, I'm not really, I'm not a big words guy. I like to say them. I don't like to write them that much. You know what I mean? I especially don't like to write them. You know what I mean? That's why I would prefer if people called, then I'd have to go, hi, is this now? No, I want it to be, a level of, I think it should just be let them sit and just wait for the documentary or start on the documentary. If you're the person that just can't be okay with it happening, then you gotta just, I don't know, try it again. Try another band. How about that? Try a different band. Try listening to a band. This was the reason Every Time I Die was one of my favorite bands, was the fact that there are no other bands like them, in my opinion, truly like them. But try to find another band like that. I know that. So, that once in a lifetime band that's not like no other band, just find another one, move on. No, but try to find another band that you can kind of focus on. I think Bad Religion is a band that I've always really loved, not even peripherally. I've loved Bad Religion a long time, but to be honest, I'm not that knowledgeable with their albums. I don't know start to finish, and they have a ton of them. And that's another band that started to grow. I think they started one of those kind of growth cycles with still early on into my musical enjoyment years. And I think I was at the time of the mindset that if you've changed, you've sold out. So I think much like John revisiting the Keith book, I should try to revisit some of Bad Religion's full-length albums as opposed to just the hits or the ones that are on compilations or anything like that. So that way I have more of a I don't know, better understanding, I guess. A better cuz really they're still going. That's still really impressive. Slayer was going for the longest time. NoFX is another band that was touring. Actually, there's a really good documentary I'm watching on YouTube right now. That's called, I think it's about the Punk and Drublic Festival, and it kind of goes through how NoFX kind of basically started their own miniature Warped Tour and craft beer festival, and then were promptly kicked off of it once they made some unsavory comments at in Las Vegas when they were performing, I think 5 miles from where that big shooting happened in Las Vegas during the country festival. And this kind of goes through how the festival kept going, but then they had to be taken off of it. So, and that was kind of part of, I don't know if it's in the shot or not. I don't think it is. Probably not. Might be. Yeah, on this one I think it might be. I don't know actually where I have it hanging up, but I have a picture of the trip that Chris William and I, former Buddha Boys co-host, went to Camp Anarchy, which is what I think they ended up rebranding the Punk and Drublic Festival to, so that they could kind of keep going. So it wasn't, because I think even some of the stink from NoFX's like comments kind of stuck to the festival, and people were like, I'm not gonna. Bands were pulling off the tour because NoFX was on it. Like that. Like to me, that's kind of like, come on, man. Like NoFX says something about. It was something along the lines of like, hey, I hope I don't get shot. But no, I don't think that'll happen because at least we're not country fans or something, like something along those lines. Like it's like, even as far as like NoFX, very tame. But again, since it's 5 miles from there, you're in the town. I don't know. I don't know why you expect anything else from them, but that's a really cool documentary. I'm actually halfway through it, so I would like to see how it ends. One of the shows I believe in the documentary, I think, was the Camp Anarchy show we were at. So we'll find out if Chris and I make a cameo, and if we do, you better believe I'm going to screenshot that sumbitch. John said it's not the same, but the band 68 kind of yeah. No, that's the isn't that the one with the guy from the Chariot? The guy Josh from the Chariot? Is that the one I'm thinking of? I don't know if that's the right one I'm thinking of or not. There's a couple of them. There's one that really bothered the fuck out of me. I saw a YouTube reaction video. Love the guy. Finn McGinty. Nice guy. Cool guy, whatever. Punk rock MBA, I think, is the thing that he does. But he kept calling them a southern rock band or southern metal or southern hardcore or whatever. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, they're from Buffalo. You know, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you can't be a southern band. It's not like my whole argument against North Carolina being the South, because literally you have North in the name. You can't be. If anything, the South technically starts at South Carolina. It's in the name. Okay? Let's just talk about it. Our it's the equator, but what's the thing? The prime meridian? Oh, man. Fuck yeah. I do GDP to get smart, and I'm fucking smart. And I think I really fucked my voice up doing the death scream, by the way, John. My voice has not felt right since I did that. I might have COVID. I might have given myself COVID in reaction to Nikki Glazer's goddamn song. So, yeah, it's he's from Norma Jean. 68 is 2-piece. Yeah. That's a drum. I actually do, but that gets so repetitive to me. That would get, like, if you saw that live, it would sound like shit, and I bet it would look like more like a performance piece. I keep doing Trump hands. I'm not meaning to do this, but this is like, I feel very limited in the Instagram space, so I'm doing this, but on the Instagram thing, I have so much more screen, so it just looks like I'm doing okay, China. What else? No, I think I'm gonna wait. I think I got about halfway through what I wanted to talk about. Just in closing, like I said, I appreciate everybody hanging out, pounding off. It's so good to see you. I figured out the Instagram problem, I think, going forward. I hope it sounds good. I think you can still hear, hopefully. And it's not that big of an issue as far as, like, production-wise. You get a good shot. Honestly, better shot than YouTube. And apparently the audio syncs up better, too. So I think we lost the live feed for a minute, too, so I'll have to goddamn edit the episode. But I appreciate everybody coming back, all the peeps hanging out, listening, joining on, watching on Instagram, on YouTube. If you're listening, please make sure you subscribe to the audio-only feed. That's truly kind of where I want the show to live. The rest of this stuff is just to help promote the other things that I do. Yeah, I post shit on Instagram all the time. There's lots of pictures of my cats. Please like those. Also, clips from all the shows that were produced on Baby Mermaid Productions are under the umbrella as well. But the ones that aren't necessarily the umbrella, but I'm inviting I go, come on, guys, come on. Now you don't have to be under the umbrella, but I'm gonna still let you benefit from it, huh? Handsome Idiots podcast with John Montag. John Montag, god damn it, with the and Matt Peoples, haha, motherfucker. You didn't know that I didn't know his name. I didn't remember his name, but I let it be known once I said motherfuckers after I said it. But the Handsome Idiots podcast with John, that those guys, they're handsome, they're idiots, they're entertaining, they love you. They just upgraded their studio from what I saw on social media. So check them out, guys. Going forward with this show, I hope to upgrade soon and be more, I always say consistent, but I don't know what I mean. Entertaining. I just want to be entertaining for you guys. I want to be there for if you guys want to be entertained. If you don't, then have the video there for if you want to access it later. If you don't want to be entertained by me, check out Falls Count Anywhere. If you like just wrestling, if you want to just talk about the Butcher and the Blade and not what he does in the band, you can talk about Andy Williams without even mentioning Every Time I Die. You don't even have to talk about it. Proper Ebonics, those guys, they just mentioned, they just brought up a great point. On their most recent episode, they were talking about how Betty White's birthday, 100th birthday, which everybody wanted to celebrate, was actually on Martin Luther King Day. So, it feels weird celebrating a lady named White on MLK Day. Alan brings up a great point of the conflict and how you can do it. How can you celebrate? Check it out. New episode coming up soon. If you want to check out Trauma Hood, that's an audio-only podcast by my wonderful wife, Dominique. I'm sure she's going to be joining me for an episode or two of this coming up, hopefully. If not, that's cool. Hey, consistency is cool, but also, let's keep it loosey-goosey. So how can we close up the show? Going forward, to put it in one word, it's a combination of a word I invented, but it's a word nonetheless. We're going to keep this consistent goosey. Okay? We're going to keep it consistent, but also pretty goosey. We're going to keep it loosey. We're going to keep it goosey. I'll probably have a guest co-host on Wednesday. We will be back on Wednesday. So don't forget it. We're going to be back here on Wednesday. I say we because it may not be Dom. Maybe Dom and another person. I don't know. I don't remember her schedule. But either way, we'll be back Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. till 1 p.m., hopefully on time that time. I think I figured out all the problems I needed to as far as this, but if not, don't worry. We will be here. So thanks for pounding off. I love you guys.